Hi guys. It's been a while since I've seen you, but I thought I'd post a video to tell you how I've been doing. For those of you who've been suffering with bipolar disorder, mental illness, anxiety, I know what you're going through. Lately, I don't know where this anxiety's coming from, but it cripples me. It's made me really antisocial. I think that's the word I want to say. This video is going to be very informal, but I just want to speak my truth. Mental illness is a stigma to some people, but for me it's everyday life, and for many others. I don't know where this anxiety comes from, but it scares me to death. I've been pretty good about trying to keep them under control, even with medication. I don't go crying or screaming that much anymore. I guess the best word is to say I hold everything in, which is not healthy at all. I've lost a lot in the past year. And I think I lost part of myself too. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't. I'm definitely not the same person as I was last year. I want to get back to who I was, but that's easier said than done. Sometimes people tell you, oh, you're not alone. Oh, you're not alone. But most of the time, I feel alone. I feel like an orphan. I practically am now. Both of my parents are gone. I lost both of them last year. I've been in the hospital for surgery, my first time ever. And I'm trying to... Everybody says the new normal. I don't want this new normal. I just want me. I want to be If you don't have bipolar disorder, you probably wouldn't understand where I'm coming from. Yes, we do have our happy episodes, and sometimes that could get us into trouble. And then we have our lows. Unless you're inside our heads, you really don't know. I once had a therapist that said, everybody's worst day is a normal day for a bipolar person. I believe that's the truth. If you're struggling with anxiety, reach out to me and we can talk to each other, because I know where you're coming from. Sometimes the anxiety has levels. Sometimes it's not that bad, and then sometimes you feel like it's the end of the world. people will call you drama queen or whatever. I hate when people do that. It's just me. This is me. I'm Cassie, and I have bipolar with anxiety. I'm on medicine. But sometimes the medicine's not enough. And some of us tend to isolate ourselves. This is my way of reaching out. I'm tired of isolating. I used to have my mom to talk to, but I don't anymore. She kind of understood me. Yeah, I grew up as a Christian. I believe in God. And some people say, oh, you don't need medicine. But some of us really do. My bipolar disorder is hereditary. I inherited it from my father. I have a chemical imbalance in my brain. I am going to have to be on medicine for the rest of my life. And that medicine does get expensive sometimes. I'm just trying to survive in this world. And trying not to feel alone. If you're struggling, just contact me. We can talk. I need someone to talk to. I tend to lose touch with people. I don't mean it personally. I try not to get hurt, so I become detached. That was hard to come out. First time I've ever admitted that. Yeah. Like, I've been doing, like, all these types of therapies. I've been keeping a journal since I was a kid. Sometimes it helps, but sometimes it makes me feel worse. Does anybody feel like that? But I refuse to let the bipolar control me anymore. I refuse. I may have my bad days, but I'm gonna live the best life I can in honor of my parents and my sister. Having no health insurance does not help right now because I can't see a therapist without health insurance. But I guess this would be my way to therapy, sharing my secrets. Yeah, no makeup today. I didn't feel like putting any on. I just have some lip balm. I think it's the Laneige. Yeah. Hold on, I'll get it. It's so good. It's the Laneige. I really, really do like that stuff. It makes my lips not dry at all. I live for it. Oh. But even reading books helps. Like lately, I've been reading a book called Mad Like Me, Travels in Bipolar Country. It's by Meryl Hammond, PhD. It's actually her journey through bipolar disorder, and I see a lot of myself in there. That's the scary part. Even though I don't talk to people very often, I feel more comfortable behind the camera talking. I don't feel comfortable on the phone. But my dad was the same way. I don't like talking on the phone. That's why my best friend knows to text me. And she knows if I call, it's serious. What I'm saying is, don't discriminate people because of bipolar. My dog's moving around on my bed. Like, I hate it when people say the weather's being bipolar. That's kind of discriminatory. I'm sorry. I take offense to that. Bipolar is something not to be joked about. People, oh Lord. People continuously joke about having bipolar. Like, oh, that's bipolar. This is bipolar. It's not funny. Especially someone who's suffering. I can't wrap my head around that. I just can't. I can't wrap my head around that. Anyways. This has been my first video in a while. I've been in a big depression since my mom died. But I have put on my big girl panties, and I'm just like, I'm gonna record a YouTube video telling people how I'm doing. I've been suffering from bipolar disorder big time. And I'm in constant anxiety every day. Every day. And the only person who could talk me through them was my mom. Hearing her voice would calm me. So thank the Lord. I had to get a new phone. And luckily, all the stuff from my old phone transferred over. And I've got voicemail messages from her. So when I'm really about to have a big one, I'll just listen to her voicemail. Hearing her talk to me, it helps. It helps just hearing her voice because I don't want to forget the sound of it. We were a team. Her and I. She had end-stage renal failure, and she had been on dialysis for about 16 years. She wasn't able to get a transplant because her heart was bad, and she wouldn't survive the surgery. I'm gonna treasure every moment I had with my mom. Because there's stuff that you could never get back. We had some fun adventures. We had some fun adventures. I lost my dad in July of last year. He was a nurse at local hospital. He was working with COVID patients and he caught COVID. He was in the hospital a few days. They let him go home, and I found him about 2 days later in his armchair dead. I'm maybe self-diagnosing myself, but I think I'm suffering from PTSD because of that. Because I remember my mom telling me that she had never heard me scream like that, ever. I don't even talk to my uncle right now, but that's because he sounds like my dad. He was my dad's older brother. Plus, he was the last person I talked to before I found my dad. And just hearing his voice brings back that memory of finding my dad. My dad was one of my best friends. Our birthdays were only 4 days apart. So we would spend a lot of our birthdays together. And our favorite place to go was Disney. I've had an annual pass for years now. And I had convinced him finally to get an annual pass. So if both of us had a day off, we would just make sure Mom was okay for the day, had her stuff that she needed, and then we would just go off to Disney. Those are memories I'm gonna treasure. Memories that never leave, thank God. I miss just having another human in this house with me to talk to. I love my dog, I love my cat, but they don't talk back. I lost my sister before COVID. She was a larger girl. She had been sick for a while. It will be 3 years in June since she passed. She just went to sleep one day and never woke up. And the last memory I have of her is I'm coming home from work and the fire rescue people, EMTs, paramedics, whoever was there, I don't remember, there was all these type of trucks there. They were wheeling her out on a stretcher, unconscious, and that's the last memory I have from my sister. Because it was a half hour later they called, she didn't make it. Their 3 deaths have weighed heavily on my soul. Like, I feel like I could have done something. But people keep saying, don't, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I can't help feeling the way I do. I am crying tonight. But since I'm doing this video, I'm gonna try to make one video a week, whatever it may be. Maybe like what's in my purse or get ready with me. It just feels good to do this again. I don't know why, it just feels good to do this again, to share myself, not to hide. I don't want to hide anymore. I refuse to hide anymore. I'm Cassie. People have called me crazy Cassie. I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 23. And I am bipolar. It doesn't define who I am. It's just a part of me. And people can do all they want. It's not gonna leave. Unfortunately, it's never gonna leave. Medicine helps sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. I have spent time in the mental hospital, but that's because I did something stupid. And that's another story for another day. But it feels good talking to get this out. Like I said, I do write in my journal. And I'm never going to share what's inside my journal, because that's for me and me alone. Every day is a struggle. I'm going to admit, every day is a struggle for me. But I think it's how you persevere. It's what makes you a person. I refuse to be a quitter anymore. I refuse. I guess this is just gonna be my journey that I'm gonna share. There might be some Disney trips on there with my bestie. There might be some Disney trips on there by myself, or there might be just me at home or wherever. This is probably very long-winded for some people, but it's okay to not be okay. In my feeling, it's okay not to be okay. I tell people the truth. When I was younger, when they would ask me, I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I don't do that anymore. I tell people the truth. If I'm not okay, I'm not okay. And it feels so good to admit it, too. For those of you who suffer with bipolar disorder, do not hide who you are. I think that's one thing I learned from my idol, Carrie Fisher. She helped to take away the stigma from mental illness. Everybody goes through something. Some might be bigger than others, but it's okay not to be okay. You can still be a Christian. You can still love and believe in God. But it's good to admit your true feelings. If you're not okay, you're not okay. But if you're not okay, call someone, talk to them, let them know how you feel. Just have a shoulder to cry on. And if you can't do that, find a therapist. Go on to Talkspace. That's helped me quite a bit. Because you can either have FaceTime with a therapist or you can text with a therapist. It does help. Believe me, it does help, especially in this COVID world. But I think that's my story for today. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Bye.